You think you're winning the argument because you're talking more, explaining better, proving your point. But watch closely. The moment you start explaining yourself, your value starts dropping. Not rising, dropping. Because the person who's really in control isn't the one speaking. It's the one who goes silent, who can sit in the tension and say nothing. And smart people understand this trick. They do something that looks like they're losing. They go silent. There's a moment in every argument where you think you've got people listening. Your words are sharp. Your logic is clear. Your voice is strong. You're explaining, defending, proving your point.
And in your mind, it feels like winning. But that's the illusion.
Because the moment you feel the need to explain yourself, you've already lost something far more important than the argument. You've lost your position. Most people never notice this. They think arguments are about truth, about facts, about being right. But they're not. Arguments are about control. And intelligent people understand this trick. They know that the more you try to control the conversation with words, the less control you actually have. That's why they don't do what you expect. They don't raise their voice. They don't chase validation. They don't try to win. Instead, they approach argument in these 3 simple steps.
Before we continue, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this.
Step 1. They see no need to be right. Most people don't argue to understand. They argue to protect something. Their image, their ego, their identity. So when someone challenges them, it doesn't feel like a disagreement. It feels like an attack. And the brain reacts instantly. You interrupt, you explain, you push your point harder. Because deep down, there's a quiet fear. If I don't prove myself, I'll look weak. So you talk more. But here's what actually happens beneath the surface. Every extra word you use reveals something. Not intelligence, not confidence, but urgency. And urgency signals one thing. You need to be understood. And the moment people sense that need, your power drops. Because power is never in needing. Power is in choosing. This is why the loudest person in an argument is rarely the strongest. They're just the most emotionally involved. And emotional involvement is easy to control. Step 2. They avoid the illusion of winning. You think winning an argument means convincing the other person. It doesn't. In fact, the harder you try to convince someone, the more they resist you. Because of a simple psychological truth. People don't like being corrected. They like feeling right. So when you present your logic, they don't absorb it. They defend against it. They interrupt. They counter. They twist your words. And now you're trapped. Because you think they just don't understand yet. So you explain again and again and again. But every explanation pulls you deeper into the same trap. You are now chasing agreement. And once you start chasing, you've already lost authority. Intelligent people see this early. They recognize the shift. The moment the conversation stops being about truth and becomes about ego. And instead of pushing harder, they step back. Not physically, but psychologically. They detach. They stop feeding the argument. They stop trying to win. Because they understand something most people never will. You don't win arguments by overpowering people. You win by refusing to play the game. Step 3. They control with silence. Silence is uncomfortable. That's why most people avoid it. They fill every gap, every pause, every second. Because silence feels like losing control. But in reality, silence is what creates control. When you stop talking in an argument, something interesting happens. The energy doesn't disappear, it shifts. The other person starts to feel it. They start to talk more, explain more, defend more. They try to fill the space you left behind, and without realizing it, they expose themselves. Their emotions become visible. Their contradictions appear. Their need to be right becomes obvious. And all of this happens because you said nothing. This is the power of silence. It forces the other person to carry the weight of the conversation alone. And most people can't handle that weight. So they break, they overtalk, they overreact, they lose composure. While you stay still, calm, unmoved. And in that contrast, power becomes obvious. Not declared, not forced, just seen. Controlled silence, the skill that changes everything. Let's make one thing clear. This is not about being quiet. This is not about being passive. This is not about avoiding conflict. Because passive silence is weakness. But controlled silence? That's different. Controlled silence is intentional. It means you hear everything, but react slowly. You understand, but don't rush to respond. You feel the emotion, but don't let it control you. It's discipline in real time. The moment someone challenges you, you don't respond instantly. You pause, and that pause does something powerful. It breaks the pattern. Most people expect reaction. They expect resistance. They expect noise. But when they get silence instead, they don't know how to handle it. Because silence is unpredictable, and unpredictability creates psychological tension. That tension gives you leverage. It gives you space to think, space to observe, space to choose your response instead of reacting emotionally. And when you finally speak, you don't ramble, you don't explain, you don't defend, you say less. But it lands heavier, because now your words are not coming from emotion, they're coming from control. And people can feel the difference instantly. Final words. Most people spend their lives trying to be heard, trying to be understood, trying to prove themselves in every conversation. And because of that, they give away their power, one argument at a time. But intelligent people move differently. They don't chase validation. They don't fight for attention. They don't feel the need to win every argument. Because they've realized something deeper. Not every response increases your value. Sometimes responding lowers it. So they choose carefully when to speak, when to pause, when to walk away, without saying anything at all. Because silence is not empty. It's a signal that says, I don't need to prove anything. I'm not controlled by this moment. I choose when I engage and when I don't. And that kind of control is rare. So the next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, stop, pause, let the silence sit. Because in that moment, you're not losing the argument, you're taking back control. And sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to say nothing. If you found this interesting, like, share, and subscribe for more.